Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk, and this time I'm in Sompting in West Sussex, and I have to say I'm very privileged today because I'm going to take a look at Sompting Abbotts. Now, you may not know what Sompting Abbotts is. I've driven past it many times. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but there's two lovely people behind me who are going to assist. We have Stuart Douch and Sarah Monaghan. I knew I was going to get it wrong.
Sarah Monaghan.
Monaghan. And Stuart, you're the headmaster here.
Hi, Richard.
Which is fantastic. And Sarah, you're an ex-journalist and a parent of one of the how many pupils have you got here?
Two. I've got twin girls here.
Twin girls. Brilliant.
6. Yeah.
So that's very exciting. So I'm thrilled to come along and have a look at Sompting Abbott. It's a terrific building. As I say, I've passed it many times and never really known. I know it's a prep school.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know it's here actually. It's sort of it's up on the top of the hill and there's lots of trees around it.
It's kind of hidden, and but I'm excited. But we're going to find out a little bit about the history, and we're going to have a look at it. So Stuart, first of all, we're standing by an interesting wall, a napped wall.
Yeah.
That's not really just a garden wall to grow flowers against.
No, it's not. It's the ruin of a fantastic building that was actually here. It was built here in Shakespearean times.
Wow.
So this is the original Sompting Manor building. It was originally called Sompting Manor, but in that sort of Shakespearean 1700s time, it was known as Sompting Manor, and the name has just reverted back to what it was known as before, which is Sompting Abbotts. And this is the fantastic ruin that is left of that very beautiful house.
Now, I have to tell people that I've actually already had a look round just in preparation for the video, and I know from what Sarah was telling me is this is actually the top. So we would have been floating in air when the original building was there.
Yes, it's quite incredible, isn't it? So the rest of the building is actually under the ground, and this is the top of the house. So,
Gosh.
So that's a window, and those presumably are what were glass windows that were bricked in.
And as you'll see as we go round, and shall we start to take our little leisurely stroll, that actually the napping and all the flint work is used, has been reused rather, in the newer building. We'll come to that in a second, but we're going to go past this, what is this, an ash, is it? I'm just looking up. I think it's an ash tree.
It could be, couldn't it? I'm not sure. I'm not very good on trees, Richard.
There's a hawthorn here. I know that much. Yeah. So we're going to go around and look at the outer buildings first. We're just going to come down these stairs and through this gate, because this at one time was a private house. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And before it became a school.
Yes, it became a school in 1921.
Yes.
And before that, it was basically a manor house, a big
Something's
house,
version of Downton Abbey.
Oh,
basically,
wow!
But much smaller.
Big staff with 30 people.
Yeah.
So we're currently standing in what looks like an orchard now, the old kitchen garden.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm making a circle around here.
You're quite right. Yeah.
It was the kitchen garden, and there are still trees.
Yeah.
So they would have had
a walled garden.
Yeah, you've got these orchard trees, which are presumably heritage trees from that time.
They are. Yeah.
Which are bearing lots of fruit. Actually, what's that? Is that sloes?
I don't know what they are actually.
Yes, it is slow. Yeah.
Is it? That's not the right colour for sloe, is it?
That's ripening there. You see, it's a bit darker there, isn't it? I think it is probably slow.
I don't know. Are they green gages?
Oh yes, apple, a whole variety. I mean, that's the fascinating thing, that a country house would have had a whole variety of different trees, and I mean, there's figs over there behind us.
Yeah, the children play here and eat them.
Oh, do they?
And use them for counting exercises, and they bake them.
And we use this for teaching as well. Our year fours, with their form teacher, grow things, and occasionally some to the parents in our greenhouses. Now,
this is a lovely old, you can see it's an old greenhouse that's probably needs a little bit of repair, but no, be fair, I like it like that.
You can see it's old, can't you, because of the way the glass is all warped and is all wobbly when you look through it.
Just going to have a quick poke of my nose inside the greenhouse here, just so you can see, actually, because only the other day I went to West Dean. And they've got their walled gardens, and they're growing all sorts of bits and pieces there.
Lots of tomatoes, and they're picking
Yes,
up
they do.
there.
They're picking up.
Yeah, wow.
I might just do that now.
There we are.
Take them home for
It's
lunch.
nearly lunchtime, yeah. But it's more than just this. You were telling me before there is a piggery.
Oh, there's a piggery round here. Yes, shall we show you that?
I don't think there are actually any pigs there, but let's go and have a quick look. Who would have lived here when it was the country estate?
Well, the last person to live here was Reverend Croft, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Reverend Croft, who commissioned the neo-Gothic house that we're going to look at.
Yes.
This building here, this actually used to be the heating system for the greenhouse. They had a very interesting sort of Roman-style underfloor heating system.
Good heavens.
Which kept it nice and warm for the Toms.
Yes, absolutely. Although they're doing pretty well without. We're passing some more figs here on our left. And then this is the piggery.
This is the piggery, yeah.
You don't see many piggeries these days, do you?
You don't, no.
And of course it's a bit overgrown and missing the necessary pigs, but it's lovely to see, lovely to behold.
Yes.
The gatekeeper seems to be enjoying the wildflowers, the gatekeeper over there.
So let's just talk about the building that people do go past and know from the photographs and what we see today. That was a building that was commissioned by
the then owner, which was Reverend H.D. Croft in 1856, from the acclaimed architect Philip Charles Hardwick, and his passion was neo-Gothic architecture. He built the Great Hall at Euston Station,
Oh wow.
Drummond's in Trafalgar Square, and I guess the owner just wanted a building like that, and
Something to set himself
wanted something
apart.
rather sumptuous. Yes.
And I guess, like all things, fashion changes. This older building was probably perhaps looking a bit tired, I don't know, but was not, the Victorians were very into their new things.
They were, yeah.
And building new things.
I think there were only 4 hearths in the old house, I think, and they wanted substantially more fireplaces.
Ah, so it's not the most impressive thing then to say 4 halves.
No.
Apparently.
But they obviously had an eye to economy because they used all the stones from that building. They reused them in the new building.
That's one of their axioms, isn't it? Waste not, want not.
Waste not, want not. Well, we pointed out those beautiful knapp stones that had been tirelessly by some craftsman with the flint, which of course you would have got in abundance down here in Sussex on the south coast.
Wouldn't you? Yes.
But instead of putting those to waste through these various different yew trees and all sorts, we get to see the piece de resistance, which is the Sompting Abbotts that is now the prep school.
Yep, that's our main building.
Do you want to go around to the, I suppose it's the back of the building really, isn't it? But
At what point did the new residence turn into a prep school?
Well, we've had Sompting Abbotts here as a school since 1921.
Oh, right.
And
so you're coming up for 100 years
we are
soon.
coming up for 100 years, yeah. Mrs. Sinclair, our principal, her husband took over from Mr. George Rutherford, and the family have bought this fantastic building from the Tristram family, who are the descendants of the Crofts who used to live here.
and they are the owners of the Sompting estate,
Right.
which is the land all around here.
Which is the land we're on. And I mean, it must have been a fantastic place to live. If you go right back to the early days when there was a Saxon settlement here.
Yes, with this view, which we can't see it quite so well from here. We need to go a bit higher.
But now we see this very Gothic. We've got dark clouds behind this, the sort of Victorian Gothic look, which just adds to that.
Something a bit Hogwarts about it, isn't it? Which is neo-Gothic as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's walk along the terrace here a little bit more. So, tell me about what the use of the school is now for. From 1921, it became a prep school. Were kids living on site?
Originally, yeah. I mean, Sompting Abbotts started out as a boarding concern, but there weren't any children here at all for about 5 or 6 years during the Second World War. They were evacuated, and we had a Canadian regiment stationed here. And just down there, beyond the cricket scoring hut, there is a concrete trench that they built here for grenade drill. Not in use anymore.
So it must have been a wondrous time in the Victorian time as a residence to live here. You know, we
well,
can't.
It depends if you were a servant or if
Well,
you,
of course.
If,
They must have had a marvellous time, but not really appreciate it so much, perhaps.
Possibly, although I suppose with Reverend Crofts was a man of the church. Maybe he I think he probably looked after people pretty well, from his wife, his children, down to the butler, the housekeeper, and the lowest servant. Like the odd men who would just be given any job at all to unblock the drains or get up on the ladders really high up.
So now we've got the site as you would drive in, with this rather spectacular entrance and the tower at the top there, which is just amazing to look at. And we're going to go up there in part 2, which will be great. But let's just have a look at the front door, shall we? Because
the door is fantastic, and we've got archive pictures of when the house had staff, and they're all sitting in front of this door. This is exactly the same door, dating right back to the 1850s.
And it's a blooming heavy door, I can tell you, because I've tried to open it. And on there, as you said, is the graffiti from the Canadians when they were stationed here, and I think even one's got the date APR 43 on the side there. So, well, anyway, this has been amazing. This is you could tell the story so many times over. Stuart, Sarah, thank you so much for part 1. Join us in part 2, and we're going to go through those doors and see what's on the other side. So, see you then. In the meantime, thank you very much.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Richard.
Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye. Right, I think I'm ready to venture in.